The UFL Gambling Podcast Week 10 reaction show and power rankings episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 100 times the amount of money you enter with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial period by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. So once again, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Football is a unique American experience. A game described by one turn-of-the-century critic as crude and barbaric, with little chance of survival. But survive it did.
I don't give a damn who you are. It's America, Jack. You know how to play British high-dose football? I don't get it.
Being played in the United States Football League.
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast.
We sometimes forget that football, being the consummate team sport, is a great deal more successful when you do play as a unit and don't rely on individual talent. Frankly, I'm impressed with the USFL.
America, this league is good for America, and football is a sport that is made for television.
I'm like, spring football is going to work in America.
You play to win the game. And now it is time for our USFL report.
Boom, and we are back on the UFL Gambling Podcast. What a time to be alive as we made it through a regular season. Oh, my God. Any of those people you're arguing with at the bar that thought spring football couldn't work, we got there. Wasn't always pretty. And 10 weeks in the books, and we got playoffs and everything coming. We're going to talk all about it, folks. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Yes, we are rolling. YouTube.com/@UFL Gambling Pod. You can find us on X or Twitter @UFL Gambling Pod. The season's just heating up. Hit that like and subscribe button. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Many refer to him as the Bet Detective, a.k.a. Scumbagger Vance. Give it up for C.J. Sullivan. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How we doing here? Great to be back.
Yes. First down. Let's go. All right.
Original Tecmo.
Oh,
First,
yeah.
I thought it was 10-yard fight. Remember 10-yard fight?
Oh, I love 10-yard fight. 10-yard fight was tough though because the whole team goes as one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you go left. You get, but you can do like multiple like pitches back and forth. Left and right,
it was fun. I lot of hours spent on 10-yard fight, but I got Tecmo Super Bowl right here. We can play right now if you want. Get all over Santa Monica. I'll take you down. All right. We are joined by third man in the booth, the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast, where they have cocktails and talk football. What's better than that? I don't know. Give it up for Justin Mark, a.k.a. J. Mark. How are you, brother?
Doing good. I'm the kind of guy that I go to a high school graduation party where they're serving lemonade, and I bring the whiskey so you can have some whiskey lemonade. Why not?
I don't even want to follow up with a question there.
I
know. But look, you're the type of guy to watch a UFL game in a truck. That was pretty. I say, how you been, man? Good to see you. And you're like, oh, I was watching this game in the truck this weekend. And as you're driving, that's impressive. And I will say this, shout out to my guy, Josh Keatley. If you're not familiar, he hosts, if you're an Ohio State football fan, he hosts the Buckeyes Wire and their podcast, the Ohio State of Mind. I'm on his show as a guest, and he's introducing me, and he goes, I got to be honest though, love all your shows, SGPN killing it, but the UFL pod with you, CJ and J Mark, and they start making fun of me for not knowing the old no turn, but they said that podcast highly entertaining. So turns out, take that UFL Jeff. All right, you piece of shit. We got people listening and everything. But yeah, shout out to Josh Keatley because he was enjoying the zero turn. The fact that me and CJ didn't know what a zero turn. I think CJ did though. I think
don't lump me into this.
Well,
shit.
no, that's what his words. That's his words on the show.
I at least lied about it. You know what I mean? I even if you didn't know 100%, I knew that not knowing it would have been a problem. That's what I did know. So you say you know it.
I knew it was only me, but on the show, he addressed it as me and you.
Well, that's the dynamic we have. I mean, some of us have sturdy internet in the city. Some of us have a fucking water pipe breaking out in the streets, and I got to run down the middle of some country roads to get a signal. But we're glad you're back, J Mark, this week. And glad Des Moines got the windmill going, and we got power back into the grid, and we can churn some butter now.
Yeah, I told Colby on the CFL gambling pod. I said the internet went out, then the phones went out. I assumed it was Russia, China, or maybe our own government. Something was going down. But
yes,
just a waterline break.
I just picture J Mark licking a wire and licking his finger and licking a wire and be like, honey, you can use the internet now, right? And he's the guy in between. But look, here we are. Week 10's done. This is for the first time I can actually say this in a long time. I didn't watch shit this weekend. All right. I watched the end of the Birmingham, Michigan game, but sorry, dude, the college baseball World Series going on. And I love this tournament. I think it's the most undercovered thing in America. And sorry, with no real stakes going on in the UFL, I was watching the college baseball stuff really, with the exception of like I said, maybe about 25 minutes of that Michigan Birmingham game. But let's talk about this weekend's action, because let's start right there. Michigan Birmingham. Michigan kind of dominated the game but didn't win. CJ, what happened here?
Well, I mean, the Stallions, like I said, who knows what their motivation is, obviously, with Birmingham. But the last month, they've looked more than human. They've looked definitely vulnerable. Teams are coming after them, and they pulled out a win somehow, even though they weren't, I don't want to say dominated, but they were definitely controlled. Face of the league, though. They just missed a field goal at the end, under 60 yards, where he's not good.
Face of the league,
like I said, Jake Bates. He missed a 53-yarder, which for him is a chip shot, and I say he's only good from 60 plus. So that's on the coach. They should have took a couple false starts, some delay of games, bring it back a little bit, and put him in his comfort zone.
Have fun when you're on the Buffalo Destroyers next year, Bates. All right.
But at the other hand, they look good, and it's a shame that it wasn't actually for any home field advantage. Although I think they'd rather play in Birmingham anyway. I think it's kind of a better environment. So, but they didn't even play Perkins, right? Or did they get Perkins?
No, Perkins. He had like a 30-yard run. This is when I was watching, and he got a little dinged up on the run because he tries to hurdle somebody.
Right.
But once again, when I turned on the game, this is like in the third quarter, and I think that was Perkins' first play of the game, and I'm like, so you didn't play him in the first half? What the hell's going on, Mike Nolan?
That's what they've been doing. They've been doing like the half and half shit, which I don't understand why they keep doing it. I don't understand why they did it for that game either.
Well, he named Danny Etling the starter for the playoffs already.
Hilarious. But what's that mean? But then Perkins is the closer. That's what they love doing. But look at the yards. 324. They outgained him by 100 yards. Almost a yard and a half more per play. Birmingham scored touchdowns when they got in the red zone. That was the kind of a difference, I guess. When they got there, they made a count, and Michigan could not do that to put, you have to put them away. That you can't keep kicking and relying on.
All right, what do we got to read into this though? I mean, like, J Mark, did you actually take anything away from this game? Do we expect this to be a similar score next week, or is this just bullshit?
I don't, and here's why. The past couple weeks, it seems like Skip has told Adrian Martinez, "I don't want you running around. I don't want you getting hurt. I know he ran 5 times for 41 yards, but it's not the same electric running that we had seen from him 3-4 weeks ago. And I feel like it's something the coach said, we don't want you getting hurt. Don't be running around like that. Throw it away if you have to. And so you saw his passing go down some because he is throwing it away more. He's not running as much. I think they're just waiting to unload that for the playoffs. I think he's going to run wild again. And I think, not to tip my hand here, the line's already out, but I'm already taking the Stallions.
Wow.
Well, what's hilarious is Michigan had 101 more yards of offense and they lost. This is, you never in this league, you never want to have more yards. All right.
That being said, the field goal goes in, they win.
Yeah.
They should have won a game.
True.
But at the same time, J Mark's kind of right. Like you could definitely see they're holding back, but even before this game though, DC and a couple other games, they've looked pretty vulnerable.
Let me tell you something about Bates. All right. You get him out of that filthy dome or these filthy domes in San Antonio and St. Louis, get him out to a real football field where football is actually supposed to be played.
Yeah.
It's a little different. It's all fun. It was all fun and games. You're making these 60-yarders bullshit in a Top Golf. All right. But then you get out there into a real game.
Yeah.
All right. And you get a little pressure, some wind, a little grass. Your cleats just might miss by just a hair on some friction and boom.
That's hilarious. A Top Golf. He's kicking a field goal, trying to break up the Angry Birds category there. The digital cubes like Cubert falling down. All right. You got 40 points for that. Chip shot here. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much to put into that, but obviously if Perkins is injured, if he's really injured, which I don't think so, but maybe, then their season's over. But how about the nightcap, which I didn't watch any of, the Brahmas and the Battlehawks, where the Battlehawks started AJ McCarron's after, of course, we didn't have that information on our show, but we found out that he was starting. For some reason, Anthony McFarland decided to be a DNP. Wish I would have known that in time. Well, I did know that in time. I just forgot to update my DFS lineup. But St. Louis 13, San Antonio 12. You look at the box score of this game, it was 10-0 at halftime. San Antonio scores 12 points after that, but 13-12 final. Not what I think a lot of people thought, but this is another classic. St. Louis only had 199 yards of offense, but yet dominated the game. Once again, you never want to win that yardage battle. San Antonio put up 4.8 yards of play to 4 yards of play, 272 yards of offense, and that was their mistake. They got a little too loose on the offensive side of the ball, and because of that, they got to go to St. Louis. So, what'd you make of this game? J Mark, did you watch this game? Is this the game you watched from the truck?
No, but I did watch some of this game. It just looked sloppy on both sides of the ball. I thought this is another one came down to a missed field goal. Brahmas missed a 51-yard field goal that would have given them the win. So if I'm writing the script, right, next week, both games come down to a game-winning field goal for the Panthers to kick it and the Brahmas to kick it. And the kickers make it this time. I mean, that's the perfect, he was in this position last week and missed it. Will he make it this week? That's what adds the drama.
Yeah.
So on this very show, I took the Brahmas to get it done. But once I saw McCarron's was starting, I actually bet on the Battlehawks. So I had a horrible weekend when it came to gambling, even though I didn't watch these games. I also had the over, which didn't hit. But
I was going to say, we gave out at least both unders in these games because we thought they were going to hold their cards back, and they did. Both unders cleared pretty easily for these games because they were obviously going the rematch games. And I was on San Antonio. I didn't care if McCarron did play. I thought that would not be better, but I mean, with that defensive line and coming in there with an ankle, I thought it was a mistake to play him anyway. It'd be tough to play, and that's exactly what how it panned out. Not only did they miss the field goal at the end of the game, J Mark, they had one blocked in the first half. But even they still could have went down there. They went down to score, and they didn't play. They played Dormandy, which was a little kind of a surprise. They had Garbers in there a bit, who knows? But they scored a touchdown. They go for two.
Well, I don't get the brain man.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. They get the 2-pointer to make it 14-13. Although the ref said he didn't get in when he clearly got in. That was crazy. So they go to replay that. Pierre's like, yeah, no, he's in. But then while that's happening, while the time is being delayed, have to look over to correct their own mistakes. McCarron says, hey, Tony Meatballs, why don't we try looking him up for illegal lineman downfield? So then they throw that in there, the super replay, and they overturn the 2-point. Yep. They overturn a 2-point play because a fucking lineman is in the end zone, which that rule in general is like from the 20s. It's before the forward pass was even invented. Like, it's such a dumb rule. It has nothing to do with modern. It has nothing to do with modern football. So they got it, and there's an amazing mic'd up part where the referee Meatballs just got his head in his hands because he can't believe he blew the one thing, and that's to have a home playoff game. And then the ref goes down to him, like, he goes, "Hey, you got the challenge." He's like, "What? What happened? What?" He's like, "You got it." He goes, "All right." And he jumps up. He's fucking super pumped. He doesn't even realize how they still have to do a play afterwards. Like, that's just a penalty. They still have to. They do the 2-point conversion from the 7 now. Because there wasn't offsides before, so it's from the 7, and then they Dormady throws slightly behind him, still should have caught it, and he drops the ball, and it was amazing. Tony Meatball celebrating that, and it's Tony Meatball celebrating missed kicks. He's a fucking paisano son of a bum, is what he is.
Charles in the chat says, "Love how Tony Meatball was given half the TV screen in the middle of the rough game."
I know, it was amazing. I mean, I love him too. And he starts going, "Everyone in St. Louis has got to come out." Listen, Meatball, you're not getting new Battlehawk fans at this stage. Be happy for the ones who showed up. You're the only town where they show up. You don't got to do that. They're there. You're not getting fucking Cardinal fans coming over with their pool horse jerseys.
The fuck is that?
So did we deduce anything from this game besides I'm just going to stick to my guns that St. Louis is just a way better team than San Antonio, but I guess
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, now you keep fading on the San Antonio team. That defense was still more legit, and that line is just they get after it. And I think there's gonna be more of that next week. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think San Antonio's disappointed. Like, they're disappointed they didn't win, obviously, and they should have or had an opportunity to do so at least. But I
think Wade Phillips thinks he won. So
I know he couldn't believe it.
J Mark, does that win mean anything to you, or did you learn anything there? Does it change your handicap of what you thought it would have been, going into this week, knowing that we have a rematch from a week ago? There's like that. Yeah.
I expected Battlehawks to win by more than this. I mean, they should have been playing their ass off so that they got that home field. They kind of look sloppy. I don't know. Also a lot of these guys, you think about the fact that they've been on practice squads, and then aside from their own training, they've not been going through seasons. So now we're 10 games in. I think you're starting to see some effects of that. Some guys are tired, they're worn out, and it's just not the same as week 2, week 3, where we were seeing more bursts from these guys. But I still think it's the Battlehawks game to lose, especially playing at home. I mean, that was huge for them to get home field advantage.
Yeah. Obviously we got a loaded weekend of action. Don't forget Thursday night, we got CFL starting. Check out the CFL Gambling Podcast. Myself and J Mark host that as well. We're trying to get the bet detective on it, but he's super mad about the jambalaya in Manitoba. Look, folks, before we get to the other 2 games that occurred this weekend, I want to tell you that the UFL Gambling Podcast is part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and the NBA Finals are here this week, and they're tipping off, and we're giving away $100 cash and a $100 gift card to the listener who wins our NBA Finals prop contest. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA Finals to enter. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA Finals to enter. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. With the NBA Finals here, Underdog, our sponsor, wants to make it a lot more interesting for you. Underdog is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em games as simple as selecting higher or lower and on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and much, much more. You can make entries of all NBA players, or you can switch it. You can mix and match across different sports. A lot of fun. They got UFL action. You can win up to 100 times the amount of money you enter. That's a ton of fun. Underdog's available in 30 different states, including California and Texas and the great country of Canada. A few people in Florida, they just launched their champions, their player versus player format. So what are you doing, folks? Sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to get a $250 in bonus cash. How are you not going to jump over there? Special pick plus first time deposit of $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. Shout out to Drunken Irishman in the chat. It says, when is the CFL Week 1 breakdown? That is happening tomorrow. Can't wait for the Grey Cup rematch. There we go. Yeah, this Thursday, Canadian Football League starts, and I love the way they space out their scheduling. Hit you with like a game each day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But shout out to Jong. Hit that like and subscribe button. So then Sunday's action, which, like I said, this is the only week I've ever watched 0 real games. Normally I watch every fucking week, even last week when I was on a flight. But the Renegades 32, Defenders 31. Of course, I had the Defenders -2. We had a kick return for a touchdown, which, me, I love special teams. I love kick returning. I was surprised, actually. I was doing my work behind the scenes and stuff, and I was surprised that we had a bunch of returns like inside the 20-yard line. But we hadn't had a touchdown yet, which was shocking to me compared to the USFL last season, which kicked from further in. It wasn't the 25, it was the 20. Or what was it? The 35 was the 30. It was 5 yards back a year ago. But we had way more kick returns for touchdowns in the USFL. So I was surprised that this year hadn't given us actual touchdowns. And then voila, we get a touchdown from the DC Defenders in this game. Yep. But the Renegades, once again, best team. They fucked up. I don't know how they won this game because they definitely had more yards than DC at 335. But they got out. They had a great fourth quarter, came back and got the dub. And the Renegades are the best team in the league, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a back and forth affair. I mean, it obviously could have gone an easy way. We kind of handicapped this one right, by the way. I mean, although I lost. You lost, but I was on Arlington. Yeah. We were both on the over on this.
Yeah, we did hit the over here. Yeah.
We knew it was going to be a shootout, and our argument was, well, Arlington should win. They're the better team right now playing, and they were getting 2.5. That's what I took them at. But something did smell about it, and it came down to 1.5, even though you lost. And then we thought, you know what, DC Might's going to show out. Final beer snake game, and they did. They gave a party for them, and they played even better than they played. I think even you can't gauge what they did versus Memphis, but they played pretty well. But Arlington and Perez and that offense, and it was just it was a shootout back and forth affair. We had the over. We said that was a stronger play. I had Arlington. Could have obviously gone the other way. I went 5-2, by the way, sides and totals. Just want to say that. Woo. Although our big play, everyone agreed our big play was Houston. But anyway, that's the saying. We don't have to get to that one yet. This game was great. This is where we loaded up all our DFS in, and Perez was great. Tamu was great. Which we call Vaughn. We had Tyler Vaughn. We gave him out as well. He had a great game. Who was the other? Isaiah Winstead. Wanted a little bit more out of him. 7 targets, so you can't beat that. 4 for 33 for his price. Sal Cannella came on towards the end. Expected a little bit more out of that. Smith had a big day. 94 yards rushing.
So are you racing to the window to get a Defenders or Renegades future for next year?
The futures you buy at UFLs, will the league exist before I'm firing any championship tickets? But both of them started getting together. Arlington, it's already documented. DC, it's not like things didn't unfold for them. They took them a while to get going, and even still, you can't really trust them. Arlington, they should have had, if things bounced the other way for them during the playoffs.
Yeah. Once again, you don't want to go out there with a game plan to outgain the other team, because that's how you lose games. J Mark, your thoughts on this outcome here?
Yeah, well, you forgot to mention the guy that returned the kick, Chris Rowland, who I predicted maybe 4 weeks ago, but we
saved him for you. Yeah, you did.
Funniest play was the safety on the kickoff. The ball stopped at the half-yard line, and he grabs it and pulls it to him in the end zone. I don't know if he was thinking if you grab the ball while you're partially out of bounds, then it's a penalty for kicking it out. I don't know if he thought the same thing, but it ended as a safety. It was hilarious. Luis Perez, you mentioned buying futures. Luis Perez might be his last game. There's rumors he may retire now.
Who the hell's spreading these rumors?
The announcers. They mentioned a couple times. And then Stoops. They asked him if he's coming back next year, and he's like, well, we'll see how it goes. We got to get through the rest of this year, and also depends what I'm doing next year. He may have better shit to do, is what I took away from it.
Right.
He's 29 years old. What the hell do you got going better than that?
He's got YouTubes to watch. Maybe he wants to learn how to play disc golf this time or something, on YouTube, do something like that. But Perez, he led the league in every offensive passing category, mainly because Adrian Martinez didn't start every game. But same time, he did have a great year. He's got enough on tape. I hope he does get to the league. As much as J-Mark personally hates him and his family.
I mean, this is a legend. First off, you don't just quit, all right? Because you played for the Rams, you played for the Birmingham Iron in the AAF, you played for the Eagles, the Lions, practice, you know what I mean? And then the LA Wildcats in the XFL 2020, and the New York Guardians. He was traded to the New York Guardians that year. Then the New Jersey Generals in the USFL, then back to the Rams, then the Vegas Vipers in the shitty XFL from last year. Then the Arlington Renegades this year. So he's done everything, all right, but not the Canadian Football League, and that's why I think we might be undervaluing his move to get a Grey Cup championship. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you'd retire if you. It's not like you're playing shitty football. J-Mark thinks he's playing shitty football. The team might have been playing shitty football, but certainly not Luis Perez. Yeah, I mean, futures next year. Keep an eye out. And speaking of next year, I did see the Memphis Showboats tweet out, we got the first pick of the draft. After they're dominating. Of course, I bet one of my bigger bets of the entire weekend when it comes to UFL was on the Houston Roughnecks, who I would assume would start Nolan Henderson. They did not. I hate everything about the Houston Roughnecks organization. They should be the Gamblers. They failed us. That was a sign from the start when they didn't bring back the Gamblers. They went with this bullshit Roughnecks. I should have known then, because we're doomed for the whole season. This team's horrible. Mark Thompson should have stayed retired. And how do you get your ass kicked by Memphis here?
Mark Thompson destroyed him my DFS lineup. When McFarland was out, I swapped him Thompson. Although I like Thompson, I was like, oh man, that's such a great play. Why Memphis decided to show up? Why did they show up? The bookmark season, first and last they are. That's it. Anything in between, we don't care about. First and last, and they sweep Houston. Unbelievable. Victor gets in the end. I mean, what's going on? Where was this all year? I mean, they played. I mean, I don't know. This was tilting, because Houston was my play of the weekend, and I loaded up on them and felt very confident. And it's hard to get inside the heads of these guys, when they say, well, I guess they're thinking this might be the last time you play football ever in your life. So I guess when you have that mentality, they are going to go out there, and do some things. But yeah, this was very disappointing. Thompson especially. Yeah, he's supposed to lead the league in broken tackles for spring football. Nothing to be seen. He had 6 yards. I might as well have kept McFarland in my fucking lineup.
Wait. I didn't watch this game. You told me Memphis dominated. Houston had 150 more yards of offense. What's going on here? Memphis. This league's hilarious. That's
your style. You don't want to lead the game in yards. They dominated UFL style.
That's what I'm saying. 3 of the 4 games, the teams that got severely outgained won the games, and even worse, like 2 of those were at 200. Do you know how bad your offense has to be to only have 200 yards of offense in a this day and age of football where everything's driven by offensive yards and scoring? Yeah, it's really fucking horrible. You know what I mean?
When I say they dominated, no, of course they got outgained, but they had short fields and they were always ahead. Houston was trailing the entire game. They always had to play catch up, it seemed like.
That's hilarious, though.
They tied it up. It was close. It's not like it was a dominant. I mean, it's Memphis. It's not a blowout by any chance. But usually these Memphis games aren't closed by a long shot anywhere near, not even within single digits, let alone winning a game.
Look, Houston dominates the time of possession. Houston runs 13 more offensive plays. They have 130 more yards of offense. They average 5.6 yards a play. It's hilarious that they lose this game. Like, look, I know I pull up the stats all the time, but historically in the sport of football, if you look at the stats, normally they tell the tale, except in this league. Your thoughts, J Mark, on this outcome?
Yeah, I was actually impressed. I know Houston put up a lot of yards, but I was impressed with Memphis's defense because they shut them down when they needed to. And it's when you watch the game, it's like, how did Houston put up 28 points against Birmingham and they could only muster 12 against Memphis? It didn't make sense. I will say Curtis Johnson must think his job is on the line because he finally made a challenge that made sense. He won the challenge. So that was impressive on his part. And I also really liked the clip of Reed Sinnett asking Henderson, can you take a dive like just for one play so my career doesn't end on an interception? Can you just take a dive for one play so I can get in there again? So that was pretty good. But
that's great.
Yeah. The Roughnecks put up a lot of yards, but they just couldn't get anything done. And Josh Love, I know he didn't have a touchdown. He threw an interception, but besides that, he was pretty accurate on the day and he managed the game well.
He was competent for sure.
Yeah.
Which is what they need.
Well, I mean, our power rankings have got to be adjusted because they swept them.
Yeah.
They swept them.
They did.
True.
And they won that number 1 overall pick. Congratulations, Memphis. You are one step closer to being replaced.
Oh man, we're gonna get to our power rankings, but another shocking outcome. I'm excited for this week's weekend's
another shout out. Like I said, my DFS lineup was top heavy with points, and then I missed the money by 2. 2 points for the defense, 0.6 from fucking and then DeAndre Davis. 2 catches, 0 yards. 2 catches, 0 yards.
Lighten up the stat sheet.
That's an average of 0 yards at 0. How did that even happen? 2 catches, 0 yards. He's my guy all year. Why not? Why not finish like that? Anyway,
man. Charles in the chat, I think he's a Houston fan, saying San Antonio took our players and our coaches. Fair.
All right, fair. That's true.
Get June Jones back. All right. You never lost a game for the Roughnecks. All right. Or actually, the best part about having June Jones is he coached with the Gamblers too back in the 80s. So you got the best of both worlds. Anyway,
Dave Matola lost his ass and he said, "Get in line, Dave. I know because of those assholes."
I want to tell you folks out there that the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Rhythm. If you're betting on NBA player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm gives you a menu of the best player props for every single NBA playoff game, making it easy to go through and find the best props to put money on in a matter of seconds. Rhythm's predictions are backed by over 3 years of data and a team full of data scientists and quants that focus on fine-tuning their algorithm to give you the best shot at winning. Rhythm pairs its predictions with player prop graphs. All right. Everyone likes to see a graph. I always feel better. If I see a graph, I'm much more likely to bet on shit to help you feel even more confident in your picks, which you can do wherever you make your picks or DFS, whatever. From superstars to bench players, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines, all backed by AI data without you needing to endlessly scroll through some sports book. So what are you doing, folks? Claim your free 7-day trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. All right, it's power ranking time. And as much as I wanted to keep my rankings the exact same because I thought this week was useless, no, something's got to shake up a little bit. And I think I just revealed I revealed my hand a little early there. The worst team in the league. Sorry, it's Houston. They've earned it. How do you get swept by Memphis? You fucking losers. You don't know where the goddamn iPad's at. All right, you got a roster that's retiring and unretiring. I can't deal with this shit. Houston's the worst team in the league. CJ, who's the worst team for you?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's personal because of that loss. And it's not. I'm putting no objective analysis into it. We had faith in you. If you can't finish up, if you can't show up and get outplayed by Memphis, then you don't deserve to be anywhere near above dead last in this fucking league. Pathetic.
I'm looking for a clip that I'm drawing the blank on the comedic timing here, like normal. But basically, CJ saying this.
Now we got a problem. Now we got a problem.
Just a joke.
J-Mark, who do you got at team 8?
Yeah, I'll make it personal too. I had a 7-1 money line parlay. Stallions, Battlehawks, Renegades, and Houston. So fuck those guys. Put them at the very bottom. They're worse than 8th. Let's put them at 10th.
They deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Yeah, they're horrible. At 7, Memphis. Memphis roster deserves to be higher than 7, but they're at 7. They looked horrible this year. And it's really hard to make the Liberty Bowl look ugly. That team did it though. I love that stadium. And anyway, they're 7. CJ, Bet Detective, what are you doing here at 7?
Yeah, of course. I'll stick with Memphis at 7. I will say this. I'll give UFL credit for this with that tank bowl thing that I did last week of playing for the number 1 pick, playing for the right. Even if it was a fake thing that they might not get behind, it did give them it kind of saved their season. It gave them something to play for that last game as well. Something extra too. And you could tell it meant something. Even if it's the common goal is whatever, they don't care about the draft pick, but it's something, they can brag. Anything you can say to brag about that means that's dawned on by the league, So I will give them credit for that. To do that week 10, saved your season, that's fine. But yeah, we still watch the rest of the year, Memphis. You're garbage. Get out of here.
J-Mark, are we seeing eye to eye here with the showboats, the power boats? Get rid of those filthy fucking uniforms. That's why they've been sucking ass the past 2 years. They're wearing that Toledo Rockets uniforms. All right. You had one of the most classic fucking uniforms and you botched this with this, you add a powerboat. Look, I've been to Memphis a bunch of times. I never seen one goddamn powerboat out in the Mississippi River. All right. You got to get a showboat, get a real showboat. Anyway, at number 6, at 6, gets a little dicey here. This is where it gets a little dicey. I'm still going DC Defenders because I don't know what the hell I can look into as far as they look good the past 2 weeks, but those weeks were irrelevant. So I'm still putting them at 6. CJ?
Yeah, unfortunately, they just can't get those wins that they were getting last year, even though obviously it's not the same team. They are less of a team. They lost some players, but they still had enough talent. They still got things going. They started looking good, and they just can't. Last week I kind of summed it up there. They played great for Arlington, but they just couldn't, for some reason, get a win, even though it was exciting to see Roland finally return a kick for a touchdown. I bet he has at least an invite to the league next year.
They failed on getting him the ball in open space all year. To me, we didn't even see him on the field besides kick returning until week 4 or 5. To me, why weren't they getting more creative? Jet sweeps and shit to him. He's definitely very explosive on the football field, and in leagues like this, you lack that. It's mind numbing to me. I would have been interested to see what Mike Riley, because I thought the way Mike Riley used Kevontae Turpin with the Generals is the way they should have been using him in DC. But
right. But they'll be back, and Mina Kimes will do another segment on the beer snake and other thing and the legality of it and all the ventures it went through, and then they'll do the shirtless interviews, and they'll be back as an organization, and they'll be better next year. I think I would buy stocks in DC.
Greg Williams back, you think?
Greg, I tell you what, he didn't really earn an NFL job with this campaign, that's for sure.
All right. J-Mark, who do you got at this next one?
I got DC as well. I'd like to see Chris Rowland get an invite, but remember, the NFL doesn't care about kickoffs anymore, so they might not find that valuable.
Good point.
DC not being able to finish 500 at home was pretty disappointing for them and their season, and it just kind of capped capped it off of the season of just, it's been disappointing, right? They had high expectations, couldn't live up to them, same team or not. So yeah, they're sixth there. I agree though that they got to be better moving forward. I mean, they can't really, I don't think they're going to get worse.
Right.
So I agree with you guys. Next year, they're a team to watch.
Yeah. At number 5, I have the San Antonio Brahmas. It's fucking gimmick ass team. All right. I don't like them. I don't like their filthy little stadium. I don't like the, what did my guy Mike Leach say? Rest in peace to my friend. Their fat little girlfriends eating fish sandwiches. Yeah. All right. That's the way they play. Like they got a bunch of fat little girlfriends eating fish sandwiches. No, I don't buy into this team. I've been watching football my whole life. I watch this team. I always think they're a candy ass team. So, my thoughts, watch them win the Super Bowl or the XF or the Freedom Cup, whatever the fuck we're calling this thing now. CJ, what are you doing at good old number 5?
Number 5, I'm keeping Arlington out. I mean, I know they're playing great football now. They've won 3 of their last 4. Too little, too late. They had some hard luck, but also when you look at the season on a whole, there's also games where they just didn't show up too. When they kind of quit early and they were, things went bad for them. They just go in their shell, and they wouldn't show. And it was pretty disappointing. Perez had great numbers, but a lot of times because they were behind a lot too, and their defense was a sieve. Same time, yeah, they're playing good ball, but I'm not going to put them ahead of a playoff team right now just because they're winning a couple other games with nothing to play for. But yeah, good for Perez, good for them. Whatever, fuck off.
J Mark, who do you got at 5?
I agree with CJ. I'm not going to put them above a playoff team. You're crazy to do.
Playoff is a cockamamie playoff. The 4th and 12, you're never going to have the right teams in the playoffs.
Cockamamie is how Arlington got in the playoffs last year with the fucking
That's true.
Tiebreakers.
That is true. But this is why
I do think it'll be interesting if Luis Perez does retire. Is Lindsey Scott their guy? I mean, is he their QB1 next year? That'll be interesting to watch if he is.
Agreed. And it'll be interesting to watch if Perez comes back. You're already ready to bury the guy, you fucking asshole.
Well, Cade says, I like Cade's comment here. You got a taste of what it's like to be a champion, became addicted to winning. The season really took a toll on old Louis here. You know, he didn't know what winning was before. Now he's like,
yeah, I know. Look, you can't. We go back to the same conversation. He came in and the offense was too good. That's why they lost all those games.
Yeah.
All right. And at number 4, I have the Arlington Renegades. I think they're a very good team. And they've proven that by winning the yards in almost every fucking game. So at number 4, Arlington Renegades. Yeah, I think they're, it's a shame season didn't work out the way you wanted to. Choctaw Stadium just won't be the same. But Scumbagger Vance, who do you got it for?
Kind of a shocker. I got the Battlehawks at 4. I don't think McCarron's healthy. I don't think this team is completely different without him, and things just aren't right with St. Louis. They have not been going on either side of the ball. The defense was good last week, but I mean, I don't know. I think it was more of San Antonio's inept offense than anything. But they have not been playing good, and they could have easily have lost their last 4 games, every one of them. So they are being at home, and that doesn't help them. They probably will. Maybe we'll squeak another week win next week because it's in the dome. But I don't know. I can see them falling on their face too and losing outright. I do not trust this Battlehawk team right now with Tony
The
Maloney.
league wants meatball to get it and St. Louis to build on.
I know. I understand that.
They've already had the meetings, man. You know what I mean?
That almost was what the referee tapped. Hey, coach, meatball. Listen, we trust me. We switched it for you. You got it. What? All right. yeah. No, it already came down from weeks in advance.
J Mark, who do you got at number 4?
I got the Brahmas. You said watch them win the whole thing. Hopefully not, because of the 4 playoff teams, they're the only ones that I didn't get a piece of. So hopefully they don't win it. But yeah, I don't know. If you go to Twitter, I think it was Twitter, maybe it was Reddit. No, it was Twitter I was looking at. They were polling who should be coach of the year. They're polling the fans. be surprised how many people said son of bum for the way he turned it around. And it just made me think of how he normally doesn't seem to know what's going on.
Were they really saying that Skip Holt shouldn't be coach of the year?
Because the thing is, they say, oh, everybody expected Birmingham and St. Louis to be good. So it's got to be either Wade or
look, you go 9-1 in a 10-game season. I don't give a fuck who the hell is coaching whatever team. That person should be, and especially when the one loss came in a week that was irrelevant. They'd already clinched and they couldn't change their playoff scenarios. Stop it. Just fucking stupid people in the world. Yeah. But number 3, I will go with those St. Louis Battlehawks because I've always thought they're kind of phony, but they're less phony than San Antonio and Arlington. And they have the league championship in St. Louis, which from the start I just had a feeling from the start. I was like, that's gonna be a home playoff game. They're gonna do that, even though everything's phony about it. But they're gonna do it. They're gonna make it happen. They're the 3rd best team in this league. And I still question their physicality. I don't think they're a very physical football team, but I do think they're more physical than Arlington and San Antonio. Who do you got at 3?
I got Michigan Panthers at 3. Like I said, it gets tough when you get around here as well. They have been proven that they can hang with these teams. They do have that defense, and they're kind of locking it up a little bit more. There's something about them though that doesn't overly excite you about them, especially when they don't play Perkins the entire time. So they can, but they have a chance to. They've definitely. It kind of remind me of that Birmingham game last week where they didn't have anything to play for, that the Patriot Giants, when the Patriots were undefeated, and the Giants, they played them a tough game. They lost, but it gave them confidence when they met them down the road in the Super Bowl that, oh, we can beat this team. And I think Michigan's not going to be scared at all next week, but I'll have them at number 3.
J-Mark, who do you have at number 3?
I don't know if Colby's been paying attention, but I can't wait for your number 2, CJ. Number 3, I got Battlehawks. I think they're going to play the next 2 games at home. I think they're going to win, and then they'll play the championship at home. It'll be a tough game, and they're a good team, but they just have such a good home field advantage. It's hard to put them any lower.
Yep. Yeah, they're decent. At number 2, I got Michigan Panthers. I'm a little concerned about Mike Nolan's. I almost put them at 3, but the Perkins injury, it might be legit. I kind of think it's phony. All right. But, I still think I trust them, and they beat St. Louis head to head. That matters. And with EJ Perry, which really matters. The worst version of the Panthers, you're always 2 injuries away from a championship. They've been proving it to me. And I think this team, even though they have gotten worse defensively throughout the year, a little concern there, but I still think they're the 2nd best team in this league. So, Michigan Panthers at 2. Scumbagger Vance, what do you got at 2?
Well, what J Mark was alluding to, one that'll shock your Colby D. Your San Antonio Brahmas, number 2. This defense is good. There's no way around it. If Wade Phillips' defense is good, their defensive line led the league in sacks all year. Their defense was great last week. They should have won that game. Well, I'd say they should have won it, but they definitely could have stole that game. It was theirs to have. Not just the missed field goal, the blocked field goal, the ridiculous lineman downfield during an extra point replay overrun. That AJ McCarron, of course, hall monitor, dimed out to Tony Meatballs. He had to want to tell him. They showed him mixed up. Anyway, the offense was bad. The offense has always been bad, but sometimes when they shake it up with garbage, who knows? My prediction here, San Antonio will play 3 straight games in St. Louis. They're get an Airbnb, not even getting a hotel, because you need a monthly rate for this. Battlehawks week 10. Battlehawks again in the playoffs. Then they stay there for the championship because they will win this week. I think this defense is put a scare in them, and this is the wrong kind of matchup for an immobile McCarron right now.
Good round, you're celebrating with your appetite. Bad round, you're using your appetite to forget about the round. I'll tell you something about appetite. It's a real fucking great thing to have.
Buddy, look, This team sucks. They've been a candy ass team all year. All right.
Take it to the Reddit thread.
I'm embarrassed by the fucking league. I'm embarrassed by the league. I'm embarrassed. Look, I love spring football. I've been covering the goddamn spring football for fucking decades.
I can't argue any of these points. I just rank them as they are out there. I can't make these teams better, but I can rank them in the way they're at right now.
But I'm saying the fact they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
It hurts the league.
They're going to be a championship contending
hurts the
team.
fucking league. The team's not any good. They keep playing at this filthy Alamo Dome with all these bullshit wins where they got they're down 12 points. They come back. It's just lazy. It's lazy to me.
They just whooped Birmingham. I'll tell you that.
Number two. And yeah, Birmingham wasn't playing for shit.
Well, do you listen to your Skip Holtz's fucking hyperbole bullshit? We didn't care. Well, it looked like you guys cared.
You're taking a guy that wanted to start Tommy Maddox over John Elway. All right.
It's still the jury's still out on that one.
I understand. He was an XFL champion.
Yeah.
Tommy Maddox was an XFL champion.
That Tommy gun offense was electric. For 500 yards in a playoff game versus Kelly Holcomb in a duel.
J-Mark, who do you got at number 2?
I got the Panthers. I agree with you. Their defense took a huge step back. I think a lot of that is Frank Ginda being out. He was kind of just their leader on that defense and their general, I guess, your field general, if you will. But I still think they're a really good defensive team. I think they can run the ball well usually. So yeah, I got the Panthers.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think the run game's gotten a lot better, especially if Perkins is healthy. I think their offense is pretty doesn't really have a lot of weakness. But defense has gotten a little worse with the Ginda injury. I thought they had a defensive back get injured too. But either way, Birmingham's number 1. All right. As much as CJ wants to sprinkle his bullshit, you know what I mean?
I didn't take Birmingham out of number 1. Let's not get ridiculous here. Although they're on watch. They're on my, I got an eye on them.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. They won and they only scored 200, or they only had 200 yards of offense and they still won, which is exactly what Skip Holtz should be teaching.
And they're going to fuck up your Michigan team this week, J Mark, and you have them number 2. I'm just saying. You're as you predicted, right? We'll see. We'll get to that Thursday.
Yeah. Thursday, we're back with our picks for the playoff action in the UFL where crossroads meet opportunity, meet bullshit. We got you all covered. I am excited to watch the playoff games. I'm back to watching. Took a little week off in a way, but I have these ones circled. Make sure you check out J-Mark because I know he's got Birmingham number 1, right?
Yeah, of course.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean they've been number 1 the whole year and they've not done anything to lose that.
What futures? I have a shit ton of futures in this league. Some of them completely burnt to the ground, like my Memphis future and my Arlington future, which I have multiple futures on Arlington. But I do have Birmingham at pretty nice odds, and I do have Michigan at incredible odds. So I almost think I need to root for Michigan on Thursday. CJ, what futures you got in this league?
I have Battlehawks. I know that at plus 240 or something like 280, something like whatever it was. Not too crazy. Only because this was before the McCarron injury. We thought you could just pencil them in for a home championship game, basically. And now that's definitely looking suspect because of McCarron's ankle. Let me just say this real quick about Birmingham. After, they were looking dominant. The last 4 games, they won by 4 at home against St. Louis. We all know they could have lost that one. They beat Houston by 1 score. 9 points at a loss to San Antonio, and then they had to rely on a rare Jake Bates missed field goal to beat.
Not
Michigan
rare,
last week.
an outdoor Jake Bates field goal. And sadly enough, it's becoming rare. It's like seeing a fucking white buffalo. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is these days. But
I don't think I have a San Antonio future. I would like that though, but I do have a St. Louis one.
I'm still expecting Arlington to play this weekend with all my futures on Arlington. J Mark, what futures?
I have plenty of ripped up futures for sure.
So I got my DC Defenders plus 1,300. That's gone. Arlington 22-1. That's gone. But I do have, the Showboats one, that's gone. I feel like I have futures on almost every team, it looks like, depending on what they were at any given week. I do have Panthers 11-1. I've got Battlehawks at plus 360. And then I have the Stallions at 3-1. I took that. That was the first one I bet at preseason because it's the Stallions. I mean, they've won 2 in a row, so why not?
I loaded up on the Stallions 2 different times, but I do have Michigan plus 800. I see Cade's. That's the one where I feel like I got to be rooting for Michigan this weekend. Fun question: if you could have one preseason future, which would you take? Stallions plus 300, Brahmas plus 1500. Is this next year?
Panthers 800. No, he's talking about preseason this year. The preseason,
Okay.
These were the numbers. Brahmas were 1500. Panthers were 8-1.
I took a Panther one. That's the one I'm hoping for. But obviously, I think you would probably want the Brahmas with that value, just because it was a 1-point game a week ago, and the Battlehawks are.
I would definitely want the Brahmas. For sure.
Look,
this defensive line's coming. I'm telling you, they have a legit chance of winning this thing.
I know they're a candy ass team, but they do have a legit chance because they always play in a dome, so that's an advantage to them if they do play Birmingham. And then the fact it was just a 1-point game
every week. I got to bring this thing out every week. He's coming for you, son of a bum. Don't you goddamn mess with Ted Wade Phillips. Wait do they tell him he won the championship? That'll be a happy sum.
He doesn't even realize they have a championship.
No,
game.
he doesn't know. Yeah. But once they plug his headset in and say, Wade, we just did it. You won.
Battlehawks are going to smoke.
I want this pilot.
I want a world's number one grandpa sweatshirt or something on the sideline. That's what he looks like.
Bum Phillips after 3 straight weeks in St. Louis.
I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out this country, mother.
All right, look. We're back Thursday. I'm excited to talk United where crossroads meet. Dreams and ambition. J Mark is the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. Check that out. J Mark, what do you got? I know you guys just always you and your wife just sipping all these delicious whiskeys. Yeah, who knows what happens on the final 15 minutes of those shows. But what do you got planned?
They do tend to get out of hand. We're doing division previews for Fantasy Football Plus. We're adding best bets. That's new this year. Because why not? Everybody likes to gamble.
Yeah.
And we got Dylan Carney from Savage and Cook, Vallejo, California, I believe is where they're located. He's going to be coming back on the show. He's already been on twice, but they're releasing their first ever wheated bourbon and a new bottled and bond product. So he's going to come on and talk about those, and we're going to taste them. It's going to be a good time.
Love it. Get on over there, folks. Who doesn't like a bourbon and a ball game? All right.
Real quick, that'll also be our very first live distiller interview. So make sure you come and ask him questions. He'll be happy to answer.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, get on over there. Scumbagger Vance is on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _.
Mm-hmm.
He is the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. I know you got a bunch of shit going on. What's the thing you're covering most this weekend? Is it just Stanley Cup or NBA Finals? Are you touching the Belmont Stakes there? What's going on?
Right,
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, today was a lot of Caitlin Clark. J Mark was in the chat room today listening. I was ready to revolt, he said, if they don't start making some of these calls. And that white bitch Caitlin, as Pat McAfee likes to call her. So there was a lot of talk about that.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. I'm the host of the College Football Experience, and we just started breaking down every single team. Me and Scumbagger Vance just did an Auburn Tiger preview.
Sure did.
War Eagle. All right. So we got 134 podcasts we're doing there. I also host the FCS College Football Experience and the Stadium Heads. Go learn about stadiums so you don't have to sit there and watch all this bullshit in these domes with these Jake Bates bullshit 60. Oh, I made a 65-yarder. Unbelievable. How's he not in the NFL? Just relax.
Check Top Golf.
Yeah, go play some fucking Top Golf if you. So I don't know. CFL Gambling Podcast going live tomorrow. Until next time, folks. This is the UFL Gambling Podcast. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. this team that we keep knocking them dead. They make opposing coaches wanna cuss at